President Biden. President Biden, your first day of office, you signed an executive order to protect the life and safety of transgenders. I have no problem with that. But you did it on your first day. But he sat up here with you, Charlemagne, and told black people that if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. So if you went out of your way begging black people to vote for you, why haven't we got an executive order or any other activity coming out of the Oval Office from President Biden to protect black people from police?
I agree.
Look what he's doing with the anti-Asian hate. President Joe Biden signed an executive order that is exclusive to Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. I don't have a problem with that. But if you can protect the Asian American and Pacific Islander from violence, why can't you do the same thing for black people? They've been dealing with violence for 1 year as a result of COVID. That's what it's called, the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Bill, to protect Asians as a result of discriminatory treatment that they've been dealing with for how long? 1 year. Black people have been catching hell for 400 years, and we have yet to get an executive order from Joe Biden to protect us from the police. And also, Charlemagne and Envy, to further highlight the racism of American government, the transgender executive order is not for people of color. It is not for minorities. It is not for disadvantaged communities. Guess who it's for? Transgender. The anti-Asian Pacific Islander hate executive order against hate is not for people of color. It's not for minorities. It's not for disadvantaged Americans. It is exclusively and only for Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. Why am I bringing that up? Because when Barack Obama was in office, all these Negroes running around screaming for Obama, I still don't know why, was said that Barack Obama can't do nothing specifically for black people because this is America. And when we got the Civil Rights Bill in 64 and the Voting Rights Act in 65, they included two words at the end of that. One was gender and the other was sexual orientation. So the Civil Rights Bill did not only apply to blacks, it applied to everybody. So if you have to make laws for all Americans, Charlemagne and Envy, how do you explain the fact that the Asian Americans got a law just for them? Yesterday, the United States Senate, in historic precedence, passed the anti-Asian hate crimes bill at a vote of 96-1. Now, to give you an idea of what that means, the Senate, they don't agree on nothing. The Democrats and Republicans, they filibuster each other to death. But yesterday they didn't. 96, only one person voted against the anti-Asian hate crimes bill. So can I ask you a question? If the Senate was able to pass the anti-Asian hate crimes bill, Charlemagne and Envy, 96-1 with almost no opposition, why is it that the Emmett Till lynching bill still has not been approved? Why is it that there have been over 200 different anti-lynching bills introduced in the U.S. Congress? 200! And not one of them has been approved by the U.S. Congress yet. But the first ever Asian bill goes through on the first try. Look at the racism. Look at the discrimination. Look at the bias. Look at the inequity there.
My name is Patrice Cullors, and welcome to Fuck White Supremacy, Let's Get Free with the Hammer Museum. I want you all to step in wherever you are and do the electric slide with me. This performance is for every single person who is being impacted by white supremacy, every single person that's being impacted by COVID-19, by sexism, homophobia, transphobia. Let's dance together.
There's a second thing that we all have agreed upon, and that is unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing, because they literally, I yield myself 3 more minutes, because they literally have not been socialized. They literally have not had an opportunity. We should focus on them now, not out of a liberal instinct for love, brother, and humanity, although I think that's a good instinct, but for simple, pragmatic reasons. If we don't, they will or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets that society has, in fact, in part because of its neglect, created. Again, it does not mean because we created them that we somehow forgive them or do not take them out of society to protect my family and yours from them. They are beyond the pale, many of those people. Beyond the pale. And it's a sad commentary on society. We have no choice but to take them out of society. And the truth is, we don't very well know how to rehabilitate them at that point. That's the sad truth. You're looking at the fellow who was one of the primary architects of the Sentencing Commission. You know what the basic premise of the Sentencing Commission is? I know the presiding officer knows. It was the first time in 80 years we rejected the notion that the condition of sentencing must be related to how long it would take to rehabilitate. The consensus is as follows, and I will cease when I finish this statement. The consensus is A, we must take back the streets. It doesn't matter whether or not the person that is accosting your son or daughter or my son or daughter, my wife, your husband, my mother, your parents. It doesn't matter whether or not they were deprived as a youth. It doesn't matter or not whether or not they had no background that enabled them to become socialized into the fabric of society. It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society. The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister, beat up my wife, take on my sons. So I don't want to ask what made them do this. They must be taken off the street. We would not be here were it not for the police helping fashion this bill. And I want to pay public tribute to them now, and I would ask that the letters associated with each of the organizations I listed be entered in the record.
Without objection, they will be so included.
Another thing about how perspectives change over time. Bobby Rush, member of Congress, said the other day, "I'm ashamed that I voted for the '94 crime bill." You ashamed of that bill?
Not at all. And in fact, I drafted the bill, as you remember.
I know that.
Unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing, because they literally, I yield myself 3 more minutes, because they literally have not been socialized. They literally have not had an opportunity. We should focus on them now, not out of a liberal instinct for love, brother, and humanity, although I think that's a good instinct, but for simple, pragmatic reasons. If we don't...
And again, he's been in government 47 years. He never did a thing except in 1994 when he did such harm to the black community. And they were called, and he called them super predators. And he said that. He said it, super predators. And they have never lived that down. 1994, your crime bill, the super predators. Nobody has done more for the black community than Donald Trump. And if you look, with the exception of Abraham Lincoln, possible exception, but the exception of Abraham Lincoln, nobody has done what I've done. Criminal justice reform. Obama and Joe didn't do it. I don't even think they tried because they had no chance at doing it. They might have wanted to do it, but if you had to see the arms I had to twist to get that done, it was not a pretty picture, and everybody knows it, including some very liberal people that cried in my office. They cried in the Oval Office. 2 weeks later.
Warrior mode, when bed wenches sell us out. Kamala Harris. Look this heifer up. So check, one of the most powerful positions in any city is the DA or district attorney, because they decide which cases get prosecuted and which don't. One of the most powerful positions in any state is attorney general. Kamala Harris was both. 2015 in California, a bill was pushed for the attorney general's office to investigate all police shootings. Attorney General Kamala Harris refused. Look it up. Through her career as a district attorney, she refused to prosecute cases of prosecutorial misconduct, meaning prosecutors withholding evidence evidence, or prosecutors committing straight perjury to get a conviction. Look it up. In one case, she refused to prosecute a forensics lab technician who was messing off evidence. A judge said no, thank goodness, and over 600 convictions were overturned. Look it up. But the most telling case is death row inmate Kevin Cooper, who even judges say is innocent. He begged for DNA testing. Kamala refused, but only reversed it when the case went viral, when bedwenches fuck off the black community. Look it up.
It's wrong. Hear me clearly. America is not a racist country. It's backwards to fight discrimination with different types of discrimination. And it's wrong to try to use our painful past to dishonestly shut down debates in the present.
It is threats to our national security as domestic terrorism manifested by white supremacists. And so these are issues that we must confront. And it does not help to heal our country, to unify us as a people, to ignore the realities of that. I don't think America is a racist country, but we also do have to...
Hello, everyone. Godfrey here. Did you hear? Who are these Negroes? Kamala Harris, Vice President, and this other tap-dancing cream of wheat candidate, Tim Scott, as Senator. Did you hear what they said, my friends? That America is not a racist country. Even the Ku Klux Klan is looking at this saying, man, these niggers are delusional. I can't believe. Kamala Harris, I've always had my eye on you. Yes, I've had my eye on you for a long time. I didn't trust you in the first place. Just because you went to Howard University and you are an AKA, you don't think that you're still capable of fucking black people? Yes, and this Tim Scott, irrelevant, silly Negro, will take care of you later. But Kamala Harris, you are the Vice President of the United States. Black people sacrificed their lives for you to be sitting where you're sitting. And now you want to say that there is no racism in America. Well, you all just signed a bill, I think, for Asian hate. You've actually given them money. Yet black people are still being killed in the streets. Being killed. Now listen. I'm glad that my Asian brothers and sisters have been taken care of, but black people have been getting destroyed for 400 years. And Kamala Harris, no racism in America, Then if there's no racism in America, how come you're the first person of color that's a vice president? And a woman at that? How dare you? Your mother is Indian, your father is Jamaican, yet you locked up more black men than ever. Or maybe it's your white counterpart that you decided to marry that has changed your mentality. And you, Tim Scott, yes, his wife is white also. Now, I'm not saying that you cannot date outside of your race, but let's be real. Like I've said before, there's a small percentage of interracial relationships that actually deal with real love, but most of it is an agenda. A lot of times when we tend to go outside of our race, our mentality changes, sort of like putting the milk in the coffee and makes it weaker. She said there's no racism in America. America's not a racist country. You are out of your fucking mind. America was built on the work of slaves. You should know this, Kamala Harris. Work of slaves. Native Americans slaughtered from racist ideologies. America is built on hate, built on racism, discrimination, prejudice. How dare you? Harriet Tubman is rolling in her grave. Malcolm X is rolling in his grave. Martin Luther King rolling in their graves from these foolish statements that both of you have made. I cannot believe it. You understand? I don't know if these are maybe robots or clones. But how dare you, Kamala Harris, say what you said? You should be embarrassed. And Tim Scott, your tap dance shoes, I'm sure the heels are wearing down from all your tap dancing. I'm very, very disappointed in Kamala Harris. Thank God I didn't vote for you.